Okay, I legit hate the fact that my face is so bumpy right now, but I'm still very much so beautiful. So we're gonna do this video because I felt inspired to. So here we are. Thank you for being here. So I've been gone for a while. As you guys can see, it's very easy to get sucked into different apps. And there's so many things that's happening in the world. Like, first of all, I just want to acknowledge my malt. If you are not Caribbean, you're not going to understand how amazing this is. But I am super Caribbean, so I love me the coconut and hibiscus version. My fiance's mom actually put me onto this flavor, and I've been hooked ever since. Like, I love this shit. This is legit the best flavor. They tried to do a bunch of different. This is the one. Oh yeah, and I did say fiance. I did say that. So let's talk about it. If you're new here, I'm Justine. I am a... Who am I? If you're new here, I'm Justine. I am a writer, but I'm also a creative. So I dabble on different apps depending on what I'm gravitating to for the day, whether it's YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok if we're still around. But yeah, follow me on all of them. I'll leave all the links down below because life is fun. I'm not committed. I'm just here to exist and to express. That's it. So yeah, we're gonna get into today's topics. Make sure to like this video, comment your favorite color down below. My favorite color right now is like lavender. I don't know, it's kind of weird because I used to, no. I love green. I will always love green, and this is my favorite shade of green. But I've been really loving lavender. Like when this phone, this new, I think I got the 14 at this point. I'm losing track. Um, I got a purple phone. I would have never thought I would get a purple phone. That's not even me. But purple has been really growing on me lately. So purple's my favorite color. What's yours? So let's get into what we're going to talk about today because there's a lot to talk about. I already did my lashes. My skin looks a mess. But we're going to put some makeup on and have some fun because that's what life is about, right? Right? Yeah. So I went to Mexico for the first time. When was that? Not last year, but the year before last. Me and my boyfriend went to Tulum. It was kind of like a on a whim trip because, you know, as you get older, it's really hard to coordinate like vacation. I think when it comes to vacation, especially like when you work for companies that aren't remote, or if they are remote, they require you to be present during a certain time of year. You know, it can really, change how you vacation or how you live your life. Like, you don't really have that sporadicness and that free will to kind of just get up and do certain things. Um, and yeah, that's why I never really aspired to get a job like that because I love changing my mind. I love getting up and doing what I want to do. But because I'm like that, I don't have consistent income. But I've learned how to detach from wanting the income all the time and learning how to live with what I have. Because as long as when the income comes in and I'm paying my bills on time, what else do I need? Like, am I striving for like am I striving for the income so I could buy things so people can see that I'm making the income? Or am I striving for the income because that's really what I need right now? And as someone that decided to go back to school at 27, I need to just get this degree. Let's talk about that because I think sometimes as women, like, we like to like jump right into the wedding. Like, I'm super excited. When I got engaged, like, the conversation just went straight to, so when's the wedding? And I'm like, girl, I just found out. Like, I'm new here as well as you being new here, okay? Like, let's just wait because I can't think that fast. So, I really try to live in the moment and, take things one step at a time. But like, the pressure, and it sometimes can really weigh on you when you really just want to sit on things and enjoy the moment and let it savor. But life moves so fast on its own that I feel like when you involve people in your decisions and you start to allow them to get into your psyche, now you feel bad that you're not moving at their pace. Now you feel bad that you can't invite everybody. Now you feel bad that you're about to go back into debt again for one day. So there's a lot of things. And, you know, as someone that's been on like deep dives recently about weddings and like how weddings look now, like a lot of people like to talk about like eloping and like micro weddings. Like,
all right, y'all, so the cat is officially out of the bag. Justin and I got eloped in Turks and Caicos today. Yes, and it was perfect. Honestly, it was perfect. The reason that we decided to get eloped instead of doing a big wedding was because usually when you do a big wedding, it starts to become about everybody else and you kind of get lost in it. And we also didn't want to pay like upwards of $20,000 to put on a show for other people. So this is how we're doing it.
It has been such a common thing for people to have a micro wedding, and I love it. I think it's such a dope idea because, you know, you don't really fuck with a lot of people. Like, let's just be honest. I feel like traditionally you would invite grandma, auntie, nana, this, that, blah, blah, blah. But these people don't be in your life any other day. So they come to this day to celebrate you, which is fine, but it be stressful. It's never simple. I think what makes weddings more simple is when everyone is willing to contribute. And I think because people think, like, I think the way the mind works is like, oh, you're getting married, like you won the lottery. People automatically put you in a category where it's like, oh, you got it, like you got a man, like, you know. And I've always been very uncomfortable with that narrative. Like, oh, let me drink my mouth. I've always been uncomfortable with that narrative because I feel like for someone to assume that because you have a partner, that means that you don't need help. I think that has to be the craziest assumption that you can have just because someone is getting married. So I just did my brows. Moving on to the primer. And, you know, I feel like it's very isolating. It's extremely isolating when you realize that people like they live in delusion, like they live in assumption. Like, I appreciate the people so much that reach out, like, hey, if you need help, let me know. Hey. And because I was raised around people that are useless, I legit am afraid to accept the help. So I've had to really step into a space where I had to trust myself and trust that the connections that I'm making now really are connections that are trustworthy. And I think when it comes down to it, like, it has less to do with the people and more to do with your level of discernment that will allow you to determine if, you know, things are going to work out. Okay, I'm going to use my About Face foundation. This one is really dark, so I'm going to try to lighten it up. But I'm just going to use it right now to clean up my eyebrows because I want to make them more sharp. But yeah, the assumption that you got it all together and you don't need help is crazy. It's such a big moment. And, you know, like when you really think about it in human nature, there's only like 3 big moments. Like, people don't come to your graduation after a certain age. So it's one of those things where it's like, you know, when I see other cultures really invest in making sure that, you know, when people get married, they're well taken care of. And I look at my reality, I'm just like, okay, this is not, I feel like this is the motion that I'm gonna pretty much be displaying throughout this whole video, because that's really how it feels, you know, living in a world where people are just assuming that, you know, you got it all figured out. And even when you ask for help, they just kind of be like, yeah, but you strong. Like, you don't need my help. And I remember I had a friend that had gotten married, and she You know, I remember her being under a lot of stress because weddings are a lot. Weddings are very overwhelming sometimes because not only are you merging your people, but you're also merging your partner's people. And that could be nerve-wracking because, yeah, like, like it's nerve-wracking because it's like, you probably never had these people in the same proximity. Yeah, so because of the fact that you've probably never had these two diverse groups of people in the same proximity, it can be very overwhelming. And I understand that, I'm aware of that. I just think in terms of like the community, it can be a little, I guess, lackluster. But I think subconsciously, a lot of us are afraid to initiate anything. Like, unless it's something casual, like going to get drinks or going to get coffee, like people are afraid to initiate. And it's because people are afraid that the relationships are not going to last, and they don't. So, you know, over the past few years, you learn that a lot of relationships are very fickle. It's because most likely you're fickle. You're going through a lot of different transitions, and you realize certain things don't align. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. So I just try my best to enjoy my relationship every day. Like, I have a lot of fun. You know, I have a lot of, you know, very introspective conversations because that's really my vibe. But I also just enjoy being silly. So I really just want to focus on that. Like, I don't want to think about anything that is going to stress me out, because that's not what weddings are about. But it's not even just about the wedding at this point. It's really about staying together, because that's the part that nobody talks about. Nobody ever asks, how are you able to stay together? How are you able to, you know what I'm saying? And that is a task on its own, because when you come from two different backgrounds, it sometimes you really have to look at yourself and realize, like, oh shit, I got problems. I need to fix these problems. So I legit have been in and out of therapy for the past few years, and I love it. Is it expensive? Absolutely. I definitely just want to fix the things that I am afraid to stand on, because I haven't fully accepted that certain things are going to be the way that it is, in terms of like my family structures and stuff like that. Like I said, when you're merging families, all of this comes to the surface. So it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you could go about your day, you know, like I'm one of those like super free spirited people. Like, I try to, you know, be expressive and fun and explorative and all that good stuff, right? But the reality is, I don't have parents. I don't have a brother and sister. I don't have an auntie. I have an uncle, but he doesn't live here. You know, like, the people that are supposed to be here, you know, guiding me, you know, helping me through these challenges in my marriage or in, you know, my family dynamics, you know, trying to create new, it's not happening. And I'm not looking for it to happen, but it is something that comes up. Ooh. It is something that comes up when you are merging families, and you cannot ignore that reality. That is just a part of when things come to the surface. You just have to face it. And it's beautiful, but it's also very, like, bitter. It's a very bittersweet realization. Like, okay, you know, after going to no contact and stuff like that, now other people are gonna know that this is your decision. So now you have to accept that. And I think for me personally, without going in deep about this topic, because it's not necessary, when you think about a partner that you want to be with, when you look at your family structure, make sure it's not the same thing. Make sure you're not marrying into the same thing. I'm blessed to know that I'm not marrying into the same thing. I'm so thankful that I was very selective about, you know, the type of person that I wanted to start my life with and be able to, you know, start a family with, because I don't think that you should intentionally repeat history. Like, I feel like repeating history is crazy, especially when you have your own Gucci that you carry with you every day. Like, you know, you have your own mind. You know, you have your own morals. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you have your own mind and you own your body and you own the things that you've went through, and you get to the other side of the tunnel, you realize I have nothing to be ashamed of. But it's one of those things where, like, society will try to make you feel ashamed of these things, but it's the same society that brings these things into your hemisphere. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't even want to say that it's the same society that brings, but I think it's the same society that supports that. Does that make sense? That's how I feel about that. I just feel like weddings can be really, really overwhelming. A lot of the topics that comes up when it comes to weddings is money, location, and who's invited. And when we talk about the money and the who's invited, that has everything to do with family, friends, community, and how much they pour into you during that time. And, you know, that can really put things into perspective, because it's like, when you're not a needy person on a regular basis and you decide to, you know, do something that is celebratory of your life, your love, you know, your union, your partnership, you know, I don't put the responsibility on other people to do it for you, to celebrate you, to invest in you. Like, I don't think it's about that. I think it's really just all about you deciding how you want to be celebrated, and to not feel like you have to do it one way. Because I feel like if you feel like you have to do it one way, like, you kind of box yourself into a 360 deal. And the day is all about you and your partner mainly. But I think we tend to lose the plot. So that can cause a lot of friction, especially during that planning season. So yeah, that's the life of day on the wedding. It is very stressful. And I'm also in school, so like, it's a lot of things that I'm trying to discipline myself to focus on. And I'm moving to Jersey in a few weeks, which is crazy, because when I moved to Houston, I thought I was gonna stay here. But I think in the back of my mind, I felt like I wanted to stay here because I was kind of ashamed that I might want to move back. And what prompted me to move here in the first place was running away from my problems. I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to have to run into people or have to deal with people and explain myself to people or anything like that. I just wanted to run away. And that's why I ended up where I'm at. That's why I'm constantly having to start over, because I'm not facing the fact that regardless of where I go, my decision is my decision. Like, that's really the core of it all. I've actually been writing a lot about this because I just been enjoying writing. One, journaling, junk journaling. Oof. Yeah, I've also been writing on my blog a lot, which has allowed me to really process a lot of things that were a lot to deal with at the time. And I just have also outgrown using my friends as a ventilation. At this point, I want nothing more than a support system, not a ventilation system. It's unhealthy. Let's call it what it is, okay? Maturing is realizing that this constant conversations about the same things over and over is unhealthy, and we gotta stop. Enough. Enough. All right. I will say I contributed to that. Like when it comes to, you know, engaging in friendships or dynamics with people where, you know, we just be talking about things just over and over, fill friendships, fill relationships, you know, our ain't shit ass mom, our ain't shit ass dad, our ain't shit ass auntie. Like, yes. It gets to a point where we gotta wrap it up. Niggas is tired. So that's my take on that. But the thing is, I also get tired of myself. Like, I think for some people, they like, this smells crazy. I don't know. I don't like this smell. I think sometimes people think that you getting tired is like, you tired of them. Like, no, I'm tired of the situation. I'm not tired of you. I'm just tired of the situation. And I want you to catch on because I can't tell you, wait. Like, I can't tell you, yeah, cut him off. I used to be that friend though. I definitely used to be the type of person where I'm like, don't do this, turn left, turn right, don't do that, don't talk to him no more. And it's exhausting. I really fell in love with Ayana Fix My Life, and I think I leaned all the way into that character, and I'm like, Justine, truthfully speaking, I do not care that much. I do really care about femininity, but the way that femininity is shifting and the things that I've seen, y'all will be dealt with. Trust. Like, I be on Twitter simply for experimental purposes because I need to witness it for myself. Okay, so this is editing me here. I realize what prompted me to even say this. There's a thread going around on Twitter pretty much talking about, you know, people overstepping their boundaries when it comes to friendship and feeling like they, you know, they have some type of control over how people live their lives. And let me tell you something. I recently had to disassociate from someone because I pretty much told them that I felt like I was the problem solver. And they were like, you ain't solving no problems over here. You're not the problem solver. Meanwhile, this is someone that will come to me and confide in me about things that are not full thoughts. They will come to me and confide in things that are a little disruptive, and I can tell that there's not a lot of processing on how this would even be a good outcome. Um, some things be chaotic and some things be bad decisions. And I think the way that women work is like, who are you to tell me about my bad decisions? Like, let me figure it out. Let me fall on my face. Speaking of face, I'm gonna apply my Evian facial spray because I love this. It's this thing where it's like, who are you to tell me who to be? And it's like, it's not that I am telling you who to be. I'm telling you, based on what you shared with me, I'm telling you what would be best for you and what's more in alignment with you. That is not a savior complex. That is an observation. Um, it's kind of like when you have a partner, because it seems like women only understand when we use a man as an example. So it's like when your man knows that you're allergic to bananas and you go out and you get that banana pudding and he's like, nah, babe, I don't think you should get that because you're allergic. What is the difference between you coming to me as a friend and you're like, girl, I'm about to go to this man's house even though he treat me like shit, even though we got into an argument last time and the time before that and the time before that and the time before that and the time oh, okay. People on Twitter calling people that want to help their friends to build their confidence because, you know, when your confidence is not built in your youth, it's very hard to build it when you get older because people can sense when you're not confident and they treat you as such. And that is the unspoken truth of human nature. People treat you how they perceive your confidence level. And a lot of people wonder why people treat them a certain way. And it's because you keep making it seem as if I'm needed when I deep down know you don't need me, but you're being, these lashes are not working out for me. You're being very needy. You're being very, and there's nothing wrong with being needy, but when you're being needy towards people that don't like you, or when you're being needy towards people that don't want to help you, love you, nourish you, anything like that, it's going to allow them to feel like they could just turn up on you at any given time because they don't want to deal with you. And that's just the reality. So, when people say, you have a savior complex, what's wrong with saving people that need help? Like, I've been in so many women's close friends, and they're like, "Yo, I'm about to unalive myself." And I know a lot of people would just bypass shit like that, but I can't, because that's crazy. Also, the fact that I was a witness to that, I almost feel like I'm gonna get arrested for witnessing that story. You know what I'm saying? That's just where my heart lays on the scale because it's really hard to overlook when women are not using their power and using discernment and spending time just loving on themselves because they think that, fixating over men or failed relationships are going to help them with self love. And it doesn't. It's called self love for a reason. So you have to love yourself and you have to choose yourself every time. So if you have a friend that reminds you to choose yourself, what's the problem? But y'all like to criticize people like that. So, like I said, I'm done. Cut the cameras. Mm-mm, I don't want it. This is too much. All right, girl, my lashes look a mess. I have to go to work. I got to get my coffee, most importantly. So, vanity second, coffee first, okay? But I did do my skincare, so I'm just trying to make sure I recover these ungodly breakouts. That's all I could think of, ungodly, because what's going on? Like I said, still beautiful because, period. Y'all are weird. But I think y'all are more comfortable with people trying to demote your confidence, trying to demise you. So you could be like monitoring spirit. I'm done. I'm tired of the monitoring spirits conversation. I'm tired of the strict friend conversation. I'm tired of the savior complex conversation. I'm tired. Y'all don't want no friends. Y'all just want me to, yes, exactly. So it will be yes, exactly going forward. Period. You end up where you end up at that point. I be on the internet just really trying my best not to do the fuck challenge because a lot of things are insane. Insane. And the hills that women are willing to die on, it blows my mind. Y'all won actually. Y'all won. Like I said, there's a lot of things going on in the world, and I think glorifying one day can be very exhausting because there's so many things happening. And I do want to focus on myself because I'm trying to fully embrace the decenter men tactic because the conversations, the experiences is getting redundant and it's so obvious. Like, how are we not spotting things from 10 miles away at this point? But apparently people are switching up their personalities, you know. And that's the thing, that COVID shit, I'm telling you, that lockdown had niggas in the house bugging out and plotting on how they're gonna ruin your life. And that's why I always tell women, focus on yourself. And not just because he pissed you off, but mainly because it's important to focus on yourself. Like, I'm so happy I decided to go back to school. Do I want to be here? No. But I know it would be really good for me to be able to, you know, get that piece of paper, period. But also to be able to network with other people that align and, you know, really put myself out there and blah, 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 you know, because that's what school's about. But I just refuse to engage in the nonsense that be happening when women can do anything in the world. Actually, we are the hierarchy. We are the standard. Okay, so it's actually humorous when I see women wrapped up in a swivel with a man. It's crazy. So much to do, so many things that we could be doing with our time, but here we are. I am super passionate about, you know, getting this degree. I've really been working really hard on just figuring out what this degree for. I don't know if I mentioned, but I became a pet sitter. I've been doing that for the past 2 years, and that has been like my side hustle on top of like TaskRabbit and stuff like that. Like I said, I've always been like free-spirited and kind of just figuring out what I want to do, but I think I'm at a point where I got to figure it out. Glorilla said the day got to end, so the day is ending, and I'm actually like, oh my God. Yeah, when you get to the end of your associate's degree, you're like, oh shit, like it's coming. But I am gonna go to a 4-year institution, so that will allow me to really mix and mingle with other people. And you know, like, I love that I went back to school at an old age, because now I'm confident. Like, I am so confident. Like, when I think back on the person that I used to be, like, I was confident. I think the people that knew me in high school would consider me as a confident person, but the person I am today, oh baby, I'm triple XL. Yeah. I don't know, something about the eyebrows is just not doing it for me. Let me see. Okay, that's like way better. Period. Too bad low. But yes, my personality right now, I wish it was, I'm a bride, I'm getting married, but it's really, I am trying to get this degree. I'm sorry. I am extremely over the fact that I can't just buy it. I hate the fact that I have to wait in this long ass line to get this piece of paper. I'm tired. I'm tired. So yeah, that's really the vibe for right now. I will revisit, you know, the wedding at a later time, and I might just change my mind, because truthfully speaking, that's what life is about. I don't think that, you know, you should feel bad for changing your mind. Like, at the end of the day, you're the only person that walks in your shoes, so who cares? I think it's super important to never lose yourself, despite if you're in a relationship, or if you are getting married, or if you're in school, okay? Because school is a job, okay? Just like being in a relationship is a job. You still have a quota, you know, because you cannot lose yourself, because now your partner has to take super care of you. And most of us don't want kids, so stop, like, let's not act like you gotta still take care of yourself. Like, this idea of the Prince Charming does not exist. Even in the most romantic relationships, you still gotta get up and get to work. So I don't be feeling no type of way. I write blogs, I make my little videos on TikTok, I post on Pinterest, I crochet, I junk journal, I use scrapbook, I use my Polaroid camera every now and then. I just remembered that I had a film camera. You know, like I do my makeup, I go to museums, I love music. I make playlists now. I never thought I'd get to the point where I'm making playlists because I've been so disorganized to the point where now, like, things are funner. Like, things are just funner. If you cannot get yourself back to a place where life was fun, you've never really gotten to know yourself. That's just the truth. I'm turning 29 this year. Oh, actually, I'm turning 30 this year. And I'm so excited because, you know, I feel like a lot of people look at 30 like, oh my God, like 30, oh my God, 30.
Do you know you have 30 minutes?
Are you kidding me?
30, yes.
For me, I'm like 30 is exciting because just know, hold on, let me put my lip. Let me see something real quick. I don't like that. I don't like that. Y'all like that? Okay, cool. Wait. I just want to do one extra thing. I'm definitely gonna be posting more videos like this. So if you like videos where we're just having girl chat, definitely like this, comment down below. I'd love to hear your feedback and your thoughts on the different topics that we talked about. Cause girl, we got into it. And we definitely got into it with the makeup. I'll definitely link all the things that I use. Everything is pretty much like drugstore. So really affordable, super cute. Life still goes on after you get engaged, after you get married. We still have degrees, we still have money to be made, okay? So never lose focus on the plot, all right? Yes, it's nice to have a man, but the man don't complete you when you still got shit to work on. And that's just true tea. Like, you cannot hide behind that. So I just want to make that very clear. We still have a degree. No, shit. We still have 2 degrees to achieve. So we're on our way to that bachelor's. I'll definitely keep you posted. Thank you for loving me, and I hope you enjoyed today's topics.